Generic greetings! Urban Empire is built as a city ruler game. What that means essentially is you take your standard city builder game where it's essentially just a sandbox with the limiting factor being money, and instead of being able to place districts and buildings and enact laws and different edicts at will, you have to go through this political component where you have to influence certain parties on the council and they have to vote in the changes that you want to make. You're essentially the mayor of this thing. It's a game I've played about 2 and a bit hours, probably close to 3 hours now, so certainly first impressions, not a review, because I've only got to era 4 of the maximum 6 eras, going up to, essentially, I think it's like the 1700s up to now, so I haven't played all the game. There's only one family, sorry, I've played 2 families out of the 4, so it's certainly first impressions, not a review. Let's just make that clear from the start, but I want to show you a bit of it, and you can decide whether it's something for yourself or not. Let's go to new game and new campaign. There are scenarios, but I haven't tried them. We've got 4 different families, essentially, and they give you different traits. So we've got my favourite at the moment, or the one I'm going through. I've played this one, and is it these guys? No, these ones. I thought that said Klingon first, and I went, woohoo! But then, no, it wasn't. It's the Kilgannons. There we go. That's like a working class family and stuff like that. These all give you traits. These are the ones I'm currently working on, I'm going to play now, which is inventors and innovators. So we'll select that family there, and because of the family, they will give you certain traits. So we've got progressive, which give you some bonuses to things like brain power on grammar schools and things like that, and different schooling, but you get minus security. You're a solitarian, which increases elderly social life and increases your prestige cost, and you've got Emperor's nominee, which essentially it's we're founding because we're in era 1. This is the Industrial Revolution. You can start in different eras, and that's why these portraits in the back here, because you select different ones, but because this is a campaign, we start right at the beginning. We also have to select a map. We've got 3 locations, and you know what, we'll just go for the first one, and then we don't want to enable tutorial, we'll just start from there. All of this here smells a bit sort of like, are we going to get some DLC families and things like that? I think we might see that, assuming the game is successful, you understand. So we'll load in, and we'll have a sip of beverage while we do so. Today's beverage is a green tea because it's just after dinner, and I always have a green tea after dinner for some reason. So welcome! Lots and lots of words that we don't really care about. Essentially, we have been put in charge. We are the mayor. We have to create our town, and we have to manage it. So, quick rundown of the UI. Top left, we've got our mayoral info, which we've seen previously. So, again, traits and stuff like that. We've got on the top loads of statistics to do with how much money we've got, how much personal funds we've got, our prestige and things like that. And then the city needs. We've also got what era we're in, so currently era 1. No city population, obviously that'll go up as we get a city, because at the moment we've just got some trees and rocks and a bit of water. We've also got the, is it the residential, commercial and industry, so the RCI indicators, that you can see the needs are on the left, the demand is on the left, and the like, too much, whatever you got, the overflow is on the right, so that'll go up in red, which we currently haven't got because we haven't built anything yet. Shows you the time, you can speed up time and stuff. Bottom left, we've got sort of city view, which we're looking at now. We've got a locked thing. This is essentially our council chamber, but you don't get access to that until you have built your first district. And then we've got our progress cloud, which is sort of research, which is a bit weird because we are sort of in the Industrial Revolution now, and obviously it's Europe as well, but it's sort of presented a bit like civilization, like you are inventing things like gas infrastructure. It's like, hang on, what? I don't understand that. Like, it's a bit weird, but anyway, we'll go for thermodynamics, which gives us steam power, clothing store, police station, and railway station. Or do we want to go for safety authorities, which is things like different edicts? Yeah, we'll go for that one. We'll start the research on that. Okay. Back to the main view. As I said about eras, here's your eras. Oh, I said 6 eras. It actually goes up to 5 eras. I've only just hit era 4, which it'll zoom out like so. And you've got things like pop music. Yeah, you actually research pop music, satellites, things like that. And then you go up to era 5, and it is sustainability, genetics, smart grid, the men's pill, Internet of Things, augmented reality, Internet of Things, cloud computing, stuff like that. Okay, so we'll go back to era 1, and we have to scroll through all this, which is a bit annoying, but whatever, there we go. Right, so, city view. What we need to do is make a district, and we do that by creating districts. So, you can click and drag it and build it pretty much as long or as short as you want. We'll build it, over here because we can. So we'll start about there, and then we'll just clicky, draggy, draggy, and we'll be able to build this thing. As you can see, it automatically distributes things like roads and stuff like that, and you can move the nodes around, which is fairly cool. You can also add nodes by right-clicking, and I think, yeah, right-clicking on them to delete them. You can see it's actually automatically going around this main road here, which is fine. I do want to increase its size. Oh, I wanted to increase its size, but I think it's just nah, that's the right size there. If it goes over, it will tell you on the right-hand side what the problem is, so in that case, it's too large, but that is perfectly fine. So, you can change the grid as well, so dense grid or default grid. Do we really want a dense grid or a sparse grid? I think we'll go for probably the default grid. That'll be perfectly fine. Shows you the size and the cost and stuff. The cost is 354k, which we've currently got 100k. Generic units of currency, and it costs us 41k a month. We'll confirm that, and then what we need to do is place services, or what we can do is place services. So we've got a city hall which we can plonk down. I think we'll place one right there. That looks quite nice. Job done. Okay, you can also see there's different colours. Now the green indicates residential, blue is your commercial, and the yellow your industrial areas. Again, you can mouse over it. If there is a slight different hue to this one, slight different tinge, then it's a mixed area like that. So that, I believe that is a mix between industry and commercial, so you can have both. Anyway, we can only confirm that, and you can see the overall size and zoning, the infrastructure. So currently we've got, it's non-gridded with a road, and sorry, it is not, it's gridded. Road capacity is 26. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we'll propose the district, and we will use personal funds because that's what you have to do to start off with. And you can also rename it, but we didn't do that. It's called something, can't pronounce, really need to rename that. Whatever. We've got one district. There we go. So it's being placed. So what you're thinking is, well, how do we build the actual different buildings? Well, you don't. You get like little huts and stuff like that, and they'll start building as we just unpause time because we're that powerful. We can literally stop time, and there you go. What will happen is you will get these little buildings start popping up, and they will go on. It's quite detailed. It's not a bad looking game by any stretch. Very, very colourful, I think actually. And there you go. So you get these little like pallets and stuff, and then eventually you will get some buildings. Obviously this road is all gravel and such, and it's like not great, but there you go. Look, we can have a nice building. It's a commercial building. We can click on any of these, and it tells you what it is. So it's a calf. It shows you the employment and the level and things like that, and its overall influence. So this is where like people will mainly go if they're in green. If it's in yellow, it means that they can have access to it, but it's just not ideal. You can actually promote the business, and what that does is sort of spread its influence. So yeah, that's pretty cool as well. Right, so what we want to do is we want to have a look at our council now. So this is our council, and this is where it really does change from the standard city builder stuff. Time immediately pauses when you're in the council chamber. Like all bureaucracy, it does seem the time just completely stops. So we've got like different parties, different political parties with different leanings. So let's have a quick look at these ones. These are the Physiocratic Party, left-wing policies, wanting more state control, loyal to the empire. Right, so that's them. You see their council members, 28, so they're quite large. Doesn't have any discipline here. Party values is health service. They value the health service. Shows your current support around your different voter types. So you've got lower class, student, working class, middle class, and the elites. Important edicts, so ones they think is important. Supportive of, that means any other parties they are supportive of. So essentially their beliefs align in some way and they support them. Neutral towards, in this case we've got one, and unsupportive of. One of the big problems with the game I find is tooltips. Sometimes it will tell you information about certain things, sometimes it will just not. So for example, it says neutral towards and you've got a symbol there. It would be nice to mouse over that and actually have the name, because you have to recognize the symbol, which is fine, you do get it, but it's just, there's a lot of that throughout the game, and I will be pointing that out as well in certain places. But it would be nice to have the name there. But the neutral towards these, which happen to be the National Swarelian Party, and they're unsupportive of these ones, who are the Free Democratic Party. They've also got a political compass, which you've got left, right, conservative, and liberal. So these guys are a little bit conservative, a little bit left. There you go. So that's fine, I guess. We've also got the National Swarelian Party, as I said. They are right in the centre, and these guys, Free Democratic Party, they are a little bit to the right, sort of a little bit leaning to liberal, so fine, cool, there you go. And you've also got some goodwill, which is very important. Now, your goodwill is It would be wrong to call it your political capital. Essentially what you do is you can influence these parties, and it may cost you some goodwill. Obviously, the more goodwill you have with a certain party, the more likely they are to help you out when you say, look, I really need this doing, can you help me out, or I think this is good. If you've got like negative, like I've had one before where it's on -12, I appeal to their sense of, I thought like, their sense of goodwill and said, look, I really need you to help me out personally here. We need to get this law passed. And they just shunned me, went, no, I don't want to help you out. Go away, because I threatened them previously. So you want to keep your goodwill in the positive. Unless, however, you really don't care about a certain party. You might think, you know what, I don't want to know about you. And you focus on other parties, in which case that will have an effect long term, because you will get different parties, get more members and things like that. And then you will start turning your state into more either liberal or conservative, things like that. So it does have a long-term thing here. So what can we do here? Well, we've got things like political parties, which you're looking at here. You've got your council overview, which shows you the members. So the physiocratic, is that physiocratic? Physiocratic Party, I think so. They've got 28 members. Overall city council is 61. It shows you the budget as well. We've got edicts, so currently we've got no active edicts, but we can have some activated, or when we research them, because you have to research these essentially, and we're going to get a lot of these, as you can see from this Save the Authorities thing we're researching. You've also got taxation, and you've got service funding, which we can alter service funding. So I can say if I want to, look, right, this is me, can I have more pay, please? And you get this thing at the bottom right, which essentially will show you where people are going to vote. So the green means they are completely supportive, yellow means they are swing voters, and red means they will vote against you. Okay, so you have to bear that in mind. Let's just close that. What I want to do is go to taxation and propose taxing. I want to raise our taxation to probably, I think, 15% would be ideal, although maybe a bit higher. I would like to say 20%, but as you can see, that's not going to fly. What I'll go for is probably 15%. Because this is where you have to start role-playing. You want to, you want to pick your family, you want to pick the way you want to play this and push your state more towards either conservative, liberal, left, right, things like that. And then the game will allow you to do so. But I want to sort of get money in and then spend that on schooling and healthcare and things like that. That's what I want to try and do, but not do it too much. I don't want to have it like a massive amount of taxation, because, we'll keep it sort of mid-ground for this purpose. So we'll go propose taxing, and you can see we will have a overall readout of what we think is going to happen. So we got one party's against, one will approve, and one is swing, but leaning towards the against. And we'll say okay. And then what we get is, if we click on that on the left-hand side, the overall vote. So currently there's going to be 10 voting no. They've already declared that they're going to vote no. 9 that say they are, or rather these are just opinion polls, I believe. They're not set in stone. They don't necessarily mean that this is going to go exactly the way things are polled, which, as we've seen from 2016, these can pretty much talk an absolute pile of nonsense. And yeah, essentially they can go either way. So we've got 10 saying no, 9 saying yes, and 42 that can go either way. So what I can do with this one, I can appeal to parties. So I can appeal to them and say, look, I think we should do this because of X, Y, Z. So we'll go for this guy first, the Physiocratic Party, and we can do 3 things. We can plead, we can demand, we can threat, and we can, well, that says locked, but I believe it'll probably be bribe or something like that. I can't remember what it is. I think I have unlocked it later on, but I can't remember what it is. Either way, plead, demand, or threaten. So these guys are left and conservative. They're probably going to, let's have a quick look. Left-wing policies, wanting more state control, loyal to the emperor. We could demand, we could threaten, we could plead, and it's sort of a bit random in a sense. Like, I don't know, it seems, and this was only really, it only really seems to me, I really can't prove this, but it seems that the different effects like pleading, demand, and threaten, the results of these depend on where they lean on this political compass, and also the sort of blurb here, whether it be like left-wing politics or right-wing, things like that. So if you sort of threaten certain parties, they are more likely to be like if there's one that's like, say, very, very, I don't know, there was one party before that was very, very far, it was far right, and I essentially, I pleaded with a member, please help me out, I think it's good for the people. They just went, no, don't care, mate. But then the next time I tried it, I threatened them and said, I will personally take you down and you will have no say in this council anymore. He went, okay, sorry, no problem. Like, so I think that might have an effect based on the type of leanings, but I honestly couldn't tell you if that is the case or not. It could just be completely random because it doesn't give you any readout, it doesn't give you any feedback on why it's worked. You just know whether it's worked or not. Either way, I'm going to plead with them. So I want the party to help out to correct the vote. So I can either invite the party leader to dinner, express your wish in a council meeting, or explain the importance of this in the newspaper. Left-wing policies wanting more state control and loyal to the emperor. I will invite the party leader to dinner. And you can see the dinner was pleasant and the party leader is now well disposed towards your proposal. So that has a change of votes. We've got +2 opinion for that, and you can see the effect, however, was it cost us one political, one goodwill. So there we go. That hasn't altered this, but it has made sure that they are definitely swinging towards the approve. Now these ones are different. The National Swarelian Party. These are right dead centre, as you can see. Main political agenda is to promote Swalian desire for autonomy and self-governance. So maybe I can, I wouldn't say exploit that, but maybe I can appeal to that sense of self-autonomy. So maybe if we demand with them, and maybe if we can say, we'll say to the thing is you can only address them. So how do I make our demands? How about we express it in a newspaper? Maybe if these guys are wanting to have self-autonomy, the way they would do that would by sort of trying to make everybody on their side believe in what they think, and then that maybe they will want to essentially get all of the population on their side, but I don't know. I'm just going to pick the middle one. And it seemed to work, yeah. You presented your demands skillfully, and now at least some members of the party are inclined to vote with you, okay. But you can see, however, this has gone down. That was 9 before, that's gone down. Why is that? Well, because not everything you do has a positive effect in terms of these voting ones, but maybe the party can go up. But well, that will work later on because these parties can appeal to the other parties as well. These ones, the Free Democratic Party, I will threaten, and I can say things like, so you can either say, I'll make sure you lose the next elections. Everyone will consider you fools. I'll start calling you the Conservatard Party. Well, we're not going to go down that route because there's far too much of that in the world anyway now. I think we'll go for consider you fools. And, oh, there you go. When all else fails, threaten. Members of the Free Democratic Party were shaken by your intimidation. You think several of them will take your side now. So that's gained a lot of party vote. The overall swing voters went from against to, well, they went from against to swing now, and it hasn't cost me goodwill. So it does seem to be quite random. Like, I don't really know how it is affected. Maybe later on there is something you can discover and it'll tell you exactly how it's being affected. But at the moment, I have no clue how it works or why it worked. So we'll go back to the main one here and we'll see how this works. So again, modified taxes, it's 11 to 8, and then we've got a 42 swing. So you can see there's also a set of scales as well. So at the moment, it's probably going to go towards the negative. But what might happen is the parties might start talking to each other and try and convince one way or the other. So these are building up, as you can see. There is a fairly high demand for residential, but not much demand for, I was going to say the commercial demand was up there. So we've got now an industry demand. But yeah, the commercial for some reason was, there was negative demand. There was overflow there. But this will all change as this builds up. Currently, we're getting -1. Oh, let's pause it a second. We're getting some minus credits. It said for minus a couple there, but we're on -341. But that'll change as things progress on. So the Physiocratic Party appealed to the, let's have a quick look at the message log here, to the National Swarelian Party. So they are the, see again, the symbols aren't represented here. So I've been looking at symbols in the diplomacy screen, but now it's using names. Like, use both or just one, please. I want both. That would be ideal. But anyway. So I think from memory, the Physiocratic Party is this red one. This one here. Yes. So they've appealed to the National Swarelian Party. So yeah, what's actually happened is... Hang on, that's weird. Look at that. That's really, really weird. They've gone right down, but these have gone right up, and this changed. It's 18 to 22. So they're now back to minus, but these are definitely on our side now. It's our 18 to 22 with a 21 swing vote. Probably going to go in my favour. That's fine. So you see the parties do influence each other. Unpause. So you can see there's you can see that the sun's going down and stuff. I believe the sun I think you get like a sort of rise and set of the sun throughout a full year. Every tick is a month, okay? Anyway, vote, modify taxes. So here we are. This is our opinion poll here, what we think. Is it an opinion poll or an entry poll, whatever it is? It's a poll. We think 18 are saying no, 22 are saying yes with a 21 swing. We can appeal one last time, and the reason you want to appeal early is you get a bit more bang for your buck. So I'm going to appeal one last time to these guys and just say, look, plead with them. Please, you should reconsider your vote one last time, and it doesn't work. Nope, they just say no, we don't want it. So anyway, we will start this off and we'll see how it goes. Begin voting and we'll start counting the votes. And you can see which side they're dropping on here, and it looks like that's actually been passed. So we've had an effect there by modifying the taxes. Taxes have gone up. Okay, and that will affect the overall city. Not just the district. This is just one district. Obviously, if you've got several districts, it will affect the entire thing. So there you go. Right. Excelente. At the top, we've got different needs. We've got city happiness, well-being, obviously negative being bad, and security. What can we do? Well, we can click on the overall city and we get a little, like, picture of the happiness and stuff. It would be nice to see like an overlay and such. You can see something like that in city data, but honestly, it's just a bit confusing looking at loads of numbers and things like that, and there's no graphs to tell you like how it's been affected. It would be nice to have a bit more readout in terms of graph. The whole feedback of the game is, for the most part, okay. In other times, it's just a bit lacking. Like the tooltips, sometimes there's good ones, sometimes there isn't any at all. Sometimes it will use text instead and pictures. Sometimes it will use just text. Sometimes it will just use pictures. It's just a bit iffy in places, and it would be nice to have a bit more readout in terms of like the way things are trending with graphs and stuff like that. That would be quite nice, and overlays. But you can see these people are unhappy, and we've got party support and things like that. But we don't really know where they are being supported and why as well. So again, it's a bit of hit and miss there at times. We can go to modify district and we can add things like a grammar school, which we currently haven't got. It would be nice, I think, to probably put one of these in here, and we'll place it probably up here, right in the center perhaps, because then it will affect other districts around. And you can see because this is modifying a district, it has to be voted on, so you can see where they fall in this. Two of them are definitely going to vote towards us, and one of them will not. We will confirm that, and we will propose the district, and we'll put it to a vote. Looks like all of them are actually going to come on our side as well. We can use personal funds, or we can put it to a normal vote. We will put it to a normal vote. So you can use personal funds just to build it yourself, but we don't want to do that. We are going to modify this district. And again, because of the parties, you can see what their thoughts are on certain things. That one's education, they want security, and they want health. There we go. Okay, so we'll unpause it. We're currently in 1822. I think I said at the start you start off in the 1700s, but it's 1800s apparently. Maybe different maps change the start or ends, but I'm not too sure. So, this will be voted in at some point. Our safety authority is halfway researched or unlocked, or whatever you like to call it. We have got a tax proposal. It is apparently the Free Democratic Party want to gain more student votes. As the party is aggressively campaigning for student tax cuts, do you make the council proposal on lowering the students' taxes? So I can say yes and support it, which will have an effect, no, or oppose. Again, this is where the feedback falls down. Sometimes you will have a bit of a feedback on the right here and it'll tell you what the bonuses are, but this is like an unknown one. I will say yes and support it, and you can see what's going to happen for the modified taxes. There you go. So these are going to approve, these are going to swing. And overall, there's our overall effect. Now we know what it is. I can understand it being hidden sometimes, but, again, just sometimes you would like to know certain things or have some sort of inkling. So what's going to happen here? There will be a vote change on taxation. So plus 5% effect on student. What is that? What does that mean, effect? There will be a vote on changes in taxation. Plus 5% what? Student approval? I don't really know. Goodwill. +2 for the Good Democratic Party, and +15 effect on the Free Democratic Party, people like them, and +10 opinion. Okay, fine. Again, sometimes it just lists all of these and you're like, what exactly does that mean? Safety authorities. So we've got this event, and what happens is when you're researching something, you will get an event pop up, and you have to sort of pick something from it. So the administration is preparing for the establishment of professional safety authorities. What do we focus on? Police force, fire, or clinics? So essentially, law, fire, fighting, or health. I will say, because, well, they're all in the sort of negative, but I will say clinics, and that will have effect on the city's fund expenditure on clinics, so minus 25% to build them, and also +1 health in general. That's fine. And we know that one of our parties, I believe it is these guys, yes, the Physiocratic Party, like health services. So when we build them, we know they're going to come through, and they're pretty much always going to vote our way, and that's good because they've got 28 council members, which means it goes in. But this is where it gets a bit iffy, and you have to start questioning things, because it's one of those things. Do you vote for yourself? Do you want to vote in a way that you personally believe or are role-playing? Or do you try and put things to the council that you know will get through? I find that it tends to be the latter, because really it can get so random at times that you just seem to be putting things through that you know is going to go, otherwise it's just a bit of a nightmare. But that's sort of the, you know, strengths and weaknesses of this sort of system, I guess. Okay, modified taxes, we will begin the vote. I'm not going to touch any of them. I'm not going to try and vote them my way and say this is what we want, because they're already going to go that way. But again, if something like this goes through, you might want it not to go through. I don't think there's been any law passed in this game so far that I've actually actively said don't do it. It's always been put it to the vote. Strange that. I don't know why. Begin. And look at this one. Nobody's voting against this. This is modifying the district to have a grammar school in it. And that's passed. So there we go. It should be noted, however, that when you place something like this grammar school, it's placed until it's voted through. So if you place it there, it will show there until it's voted through. And if it's voted through, it stays there. If it's not voted through, it'll disappear, which is a bit weird. What I'm going to do is click on that, and I will endorse the service and increase its size to maximum level. And I've just got another achievement, which is weird, because I'm pretty sure I've already had that achievement. Right, we're going to go to, do we have any institution? We don't have any institution. Things like railway stations and harbours and stuff you can place. So, we'll go to max speed here and see what happens. We've got a fairly decent need for residential and commercial, as you can see. We are making money, which is a good thing. And safety authorities just come through. So we've got different things we can do. So we've got a clinic, we've got safety authority edicts and other things like that. We'll go to our progress cloud. And where do we want to go for now? We've got the telegraph, we've got thermodynamics, things like that. I will go for thermodynamics. This is like the overall time it takes to research it or unlock it. And we'll go for thermodynamics, and we'll go over to the council chambers, because what I want to do is go for an edict and put an edict in. So you've got things like alcohol licensing, tobacco licensing, things like that. If we go for, say, tobacco licensing, the overall effect, you can see sales demand will go up by the look of it. Change monthly funds, change in monthly city fund expenses, 5%. Does that mean expenses go up by 5%? I don't know. Sales demand goes up by 5%, and the overall demand for... Hang on, that says demand, that says sales demand. There's two sales demand for whatever these are, but them tooltips show you... or these pictures show you a tooltip, but no description, and these don't even show you any. Oh well. You can see the overall view they have for the voting. So one of them is close to... The Physiocratic Party is close to saying, yeah, definitely. The rest is sort of swing, but... Mostly, I think this would go through. So you can see smoke shops seem to be here to stay. Safely smoking and the related commodity regulations, blah, blah, blah. It's up for debate. Placing tobacco sales of tobacco under strict control might be a good public policy. We'll propose that. And you can see how it will be affected. We'll say yes. Click on that. Currently, 10 to 9. I think we will plead with these guys and say, invite the party leader to dinner. And that sort of worked out a little bit. It sort of worked out, swinging our favour. I'm back to the city. So, I think I will create another district. So it looks like we want, well, it's industry and residential. Although, at the moment, the problem is that when I place a district, so for example this, okay, when I place that, strange that isn't placed. Oh, there we go. If I place that, I can't alter the distribution, because the distribution in here is actually an unlock, I believe. Unlock spread selection, there it is. Yeah, you have to unlock these things. We've just got an honorary membership request. So people of the Physiocratic Party think you are a great politician. They'd like to grant you an honorary party membership. So this is where you can sort of fall down, really. If you can fall down maybe at times with it. It will affect a lot of things. If I say yes, they will be more likely to help me out, and they currently have 35% support of the people, so they're the second biggest party in terms of support, but they don't have as many council members. So they have more council members than the Free Democratic Party, but they don't have not as much support, really. But they are leaning towards left and conservative, whereas these guys are right and a little bit liberal. So actually, the way I'm playing it now is probably about close to that, so we'll probably accept that. We will agree. And you can see overall goodwill is increased from them, but negative on the rest of the parties. Currently there's only 3, but as you progress through the ages you will get more. And again, it depends on how they'll rise and fall depending on your voters and how you affect them and things like that. But it's not entirely clear just how much is affected by what you do, because again, there's no overall readouts and graphs as far as I can tell. Maybe I've got that wrong. If there is, then I do apologize. It'll be somewhere perhaps, but I haven't found it, and it certainly hasn't been pointed out in the tutorials, which seems quite adequate. The tutorials, it's not too bad. So there's different parties appealing here. We can see it's 14 to 26. That's going to go through almost certainly. Business is booming in glass. There you go. And textiles and forestry and funeral parlour and glass and textiles and funeral parlour and why is that just spammed the list? I think that's a bit of a glitch. Either way, anyone that's in glass, what's that? Industrial building, what's that make? Furniture, textiles, stuff like that. So this is good. It's like random events, so that'd be good, I guess. Liberal sympathy. All of the parties in words, I can't pronounce these European names. You empathise most with the Free Democratic Party. They could be a powerful ally, however. Cozying up to one party might cause problems. So I've already received an honorary membership from the opponents of these, so we'll just say, yeah, I'll accept that as well. So we're swinging wild. We're being a popularist, if nothing else. So we will begin this vote here. Remember, we are the mayor, so we have to, make sure that we are, I guess, in the middle. Or you don't even have to be in the middle. You can support just one party if that's actually winning. If it's not, then you have to do a lot of overruling and things like that. So anyway, there's that on the go. We will probably go for another edict, I believe. We'll pass probably alcohol licensing, and we'll do the same sort of thing. We'll propose that again. That'll probably go through without any real problem. We'll max speed it here. You can see current money is good, and everything is fine there. What I want to do is build another district. We've got a paper popping up here. They're quite good, these. It tells you, this is the Swarelian Gazette, and shows you the time and stuff, 4 pages. Free Democratic Party wins the election, so the Physiocratic Party came second with 33% support. Glass cups in, ceramics out, and that's the industry report. So that tells you what the pop-up said on the left-hand side, where glass is booming. And we've also got the first railway opened in the United Kingdom. Very, very nice. So it tells you things that's going to happen later on. I found that you do get certain events, and it does seem, again, I don't know if this is true or not, it does seem to follow history in certain events. There was one thing that came in where it was about cholera. And talking about cholera, and said, well, look, we think miasma, the smell of something, is actually what is causing this, where it's actually things in the water. And I believe it was Jon Snow. I don't know how I know this, but Jon Snow said, was it Jon Snow? I might be getting confused now, but one of them said essentially that it is not miasma, which was against what people thought. It was, it's actually, it's a waterborne disease essentially, and yeah, that was it. I've picked one of them, and it went, yeah, no problem. You've essentially cleared it because you know what the answer is. So if you knew the answer, then you would get, that would be good. If you didn't know the answer, it could go all over the place. Anyway, we'll start this vote. This could go either way. Was it Jon Snow? I can't remember now. And it's not Jon Snow from that Game of Thrones. It's not that. It's a bloke. Am I getting confused now? Was it Jon Snow that... I think he said that it was waterborne and he was sort of laughed at a bit. And then they ended up, like, building sewers and things like that and getting rid of it because they thought that if you get rid of all of that waste and also not having polluted fresh water supply, then that would mean that the smell's gone, which means there's no, like, you can't have cholera or whatever. But that's what they thought because it was the smell, but actually the act of making it not smell was to not pollute stuff and actually resulted in the intended effect, which was everybody not crapping themselves and whatnot. Anyway, thermodynamics, railway station. We can build a railway station. We have to make a decision about our railway station's look. So we can have imperial, Swarillian, or ascetic, which is just bland. I think we'll go for Swarillian, and that will increase bonuses in parties and stuff. And we know that one of the parties is the National Swarillian Party, and we know that they will probably like me for that. Oh, look, my goodwill is pretty up as well with them. Cool. Anyway, we've got, look at that, that's crazy. Commercial demand -6. Wow, okay. Interesting. Another ban heavy... Oh, well, hang on, let's have a quick look. There's another vote coming in. So, I hereby propose that children under the age of 10 may not be hired for certain jobs. Support it or oppose it. And you can see what will happen there. I will support that, and it gives you an overall effect. Weird that you mouse over that one and you go for the second one and it doesn't actually change. You have to close it again. Glitches. We'll support that, and we'll say okay. Another newspaper, whatnot. And that'll hopefully be voted through. What we're going to do is probably create a district because we can, and we will place a district like so, and probably up to about there perhaps is okay. It would be nice to alter the distribution of this, but we don't actually have the option to do it. I'm going to place a clinic on the far left and a grammar school probably up here. And we'll confirm that, and it shows you the cost. We'll go through a normal vote. I think it's going to pass. There we go. And let's see what happens. Thermodynamics is about to come through. There we go. We'll say progress cloud, and we'll probably go for the telegraph. And oh no, we won't. We want to go for yes, the telegraph, because it gives you spread selection, which is something I could have used earlier on. For that reason, I would probably go for safety authorities first and then telegraph second, mainly because you can start putting some edicts in and getting people on your side, because obviously if it's successful then it works out. In terms of new district, we'll vote on this one. 6 say no, several say 4, and then a bit of swing there. Yeah, that's straight through, no problem whatsoever. Close that. Ban heavy work hours, heavy work should I say, for under 10s, and you can see, yeah, we're not going to have any work houses in this city, which is not really a city. It's very, very small, as you can see, but, you know, it is what it is. And we see a nice little... You can zoom in, you can see some details. You've got, like, horse and carts and stuff. I say it's not a bad-looking game. It's very colourful, at least, if a bit samey in different areas. There you go. And it's gone all dark. Oh, no. Anyway, a golden future. The world is entering a boom that shall never end, apparently. And loads of other stuff that we don't need to read at the moment because we're just trying to smash through it. So we've got the telegraph. We have an option, so we can either say municipal usage or private telegraph. We'll say municipal usage, why not? Reduces the cost. A strange gift. This has popped up a couple of times, actually, when I've been playing this game. You've been sent a gift from some tropical Caribbean island. When you go off the port to collect it, you find that the gift is a live llama with a short note attached to it. Congratulations on mayoralship. I wish you a long and successful career. Token of goodwill, I've sent you Hector. Treat him well, sincerely yours. Some bloke who's given me a llama. Right. Yeah, why not? I'll accept the llama. There's a lot of llama stuff in this. I've had a couple of events to do with llamas, and I do not know why. Although I'm not complaining, it's just an observation. Anyway. So, we've got another conflict here. Loads of events. You have modern ideas about city planning. Your vision, both architecture and infrastructure, match the needs of the people. But when you send your plans to the emperor, he answers a strict no. Instead, he wants a wide boulevard and grand buildings to reflect the glory of the empire. Do the emperor says or reason with the emperor? I will try and reason with the emperor. And it says, you see the emperor detail letter explaining why your model is the best. You receive no reply, but 2 imperial officials who travelled away from Vienna to show that you fulfill the emperor's needs. That's the second time that's happened with that same outcome. So I don't know whether that event is fixed or whether they are random. Again, it doesn't tell us. We need to go to Steam and Speed. We need to pick something. This is talking about the future of trains, and we say I dislike them, blah blah. I'm going to say they are the transport of the future, and it gives you some little bonuses, and that's actually personal as well. So we can see that. Oh, there's our progress cloud. Let me just go for words, gas infrastructure. There we go. Yeah, we can see with mayoral. It's going to change our overall traits, and that matters because you do get heirs, and then that will affect the next, essentially the next person that comes along. So you have like a personal growth as well as city growth and other things. So we're almost ready to vote with the heavy work or ban heavy work, and we will start that and begin the voting. Let's see what happens. In terms of money, we're actually in the negatives at the moment, but that'll swing along, and that's actually being passed there, no problem. We can probably go for some raising of taxes, maybe, I don't know. We're on negatives there, but that's actually going up now. I'm just going to keep closing these new papers because they're just essentially telling us what we've already found out. Now we're actually on positive, that's fine. So that's actually evened out quite well there. It does seem a bit iffy at times because you might say have a very, very high need for, say, commercial, and you place down a district and designate most of that as, say, commercial. And what happens? I thought it said Edinburgh then. It's Edgeborough, which is edge of this. Yeah, what happens is that you will have like a fairly big commercial stuff, and then you build it, and then they'll build all of these things. And then they'll go out of business because nobody's using them for some reason. And then you'll have high demand for residential because now that you've got more businesses, it sort of has a call for people wanting to stay near them. So it's really, really difficult to manage, I find, getting a nice little balance. Gas infrastructure here, we can pick the Anglo-Saxon model, the Viennese model, or the partisan model. If we go for Viennese model, then we'll have more positive effects with the physiocratic party because they want ties to the emperor in the old ways and such. So, what else can you do? Well, you can, as I said, modify the district, and you can now alter. I can alter the distribution, as you can see. This is the distribution of residential, business, and industry. I'm actually going to cancel that because I don't want to change this one. I just wanted to show you that you can do that now that I've unlocked it. We can also change things, or we can add things like public service. We've got clinics, we've got grammar schools. We haven't got a clinic yet. I don't know, we have got a clinic. We haven't got things like a police station, though. It would be nice to have a police station, so we'll place it in... I don't want to destroy too many buildings, but it seems to me that I'm going to have to. There we go. Place that there, and I will confirm that. You also have, eventually, options for the density of the buildings, so how close they are together. So I'm guessing later on you will get more taller buildings and things like that, which the density will alter. Also, you will get things like infrastructure, whether you want gas lighting, electric lighting, change of the roads. It's all in here. It's all there. We'll go for a normal vote on this one, and we'll say okay. But that is a little bit, and I do stress a very little bit, of urban empire. I think it's perhaps a deeper game than it may appear, but the reason it doesn't really show that is because, as I said, the feedback just seems to be lacking in places. It would be nice to have some more tooltips, some more things telling you why they happen, just more feedback. And like sometimes I'm doing things and I'm not entirely sure why they worked and why they didn't work. I understand that there has to be some randomness in there, but it might just be a little bit more. It's a little bit too much for my tastes in some places. But I do like this element here. I do like the way you can sway the parties, and as they grow, and they might grow and actually falter, things like that. That's a nice element to it. Sometimes, however, it does feel like you are just slamming through edicts that you know are going to go through to get political will up, and then you can perhaps then pretty much tell them what to do because you have so much political goodwill. But maybe that's just my way of playing it. Maybe there is other ways. Who knows? Either way, I don't think it is too bad. I wouldn't say it's not there, but I do think it would benefit from some work in places, as I've mentioned throughout this video. Either way, links are in the description, so you can check it out yourself if you do so desire. It is a bit of a weird mix. Obviously, they went for a very I wouldn't say limited way of building, but a very basic way of building. But it's how the building interacts with the political stuff, which I think is very, very different. I just hope that is expanded upon. I'll get the words out eventually, and cleaned up just a little bit. And I think it could be quite a nice thing. It does have some legs. It definitely has some legs on it. Links in the description. As I said, you can check it out yourself. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. And generic partings. I've realised I am 303k in the tank. So, going bankrupt, not good.